This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. U.S. President Joe Biden says Israel has agreed to allow humanitarian assistance to begin flowing into Gaza from Egypt under conditions that shipments be subject to inspections and the aid should go to civilians and not Hamas militants.
And if Hamas diverts or steals the assistance, they will have demonstrated once again that they have no concern for the welfare of the Palestinian people.
Biden spoke from Tel Aviv, Israel, where he arrived Wednesday to show support for the U.S. ally after the October 7th attack by Hamas. Nearly 1,400 people were killed in the attack. Israel had cut off the flow of food, fuel, and water to the Gaza Strip after the attack. A massive blast at a Gaza City hospital killed hundreds on Tuesday, but while the deadly explosion sparked outrage, Israel and the U.S. say they have evidence Israel is not to blame. VOA national security correspondent Jeff Selden has more.
Intercepted audio put out overnight by the Israel Defense Force, a conversation by two alleged Hamas operatives, putting the blame for the hospital blast on a rocket fired by the group Palestinian Islamic Jihad. In Tel Aviv Wednesday, U.S. President Joe Biden said U.S. intelligence is drawing a similar conclusion.
Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
U.S. officials tell VOA the assessment's based on a combination of overhead imagery, intercepts, and other sources. Jeff Selden, VOA News, Washington.
Palestinian rocket attacks on Israel resumed shortly before Biden's arrival after a 12-hour lull. Israeli strikes on Gaza continued Wednesday, including on cities in South Gaza that Israel had described as safe zones for Palestinian citizens. This is VOA News. U.S. President Joe Biden met with Israeli first responders and the families of victims as part of his visit to the region. AP correspondent Karen Chamas reports.
The president moved from one Israeli to another as they each told him their personal stories in relation to the recent Israeli war with Hamas. He whispered to one woman who worked at a hospital treating Israelis and Palestinians.
Thank you for what you do.
Meanwhile, the bloodshed in Gaza continued as thousands of Palestinians have been killed in Israeli military airstrikes. Over 1,000 Israelis were also killed from a recent assault by the militant group Hamas. I'm Karen Chamas.
A U.S. defense official says 2 drones launched at a base hosting U.S. troops in western Iraq have been intercepted. Hours later, an Iranian-backed militia in Iraq announced it had launched another drone attack on a second base. No injuries have been reported in either incident. The salvos came at a time of increasing tension and fears of a broader regional conflict in the wake of the latest Hamas-Israel war. Since the beginning of the war, October 7th, much attention has been focused on the Lebanese Hezbollah, a powerful ally of Hamas, but in recent days, Iranian-backed militias in Iraq have also threatened to attack U.S. facilities because of American support for Israel. Nigeria's inflation rate has risen to its highest level in 2 decades, 26.72%, according to the National Statistics Bureau. The latest figure keeps millions of people in Africa's largest country struggling to survive economic challenges that analysts say are exacerbated by government reform policies. Timothy Obuzu reports from Abuja.
The National Bureau of Statistics says the trend was caused by an increase in prices of food items like bread and cereals, meat, vegetables, milk, cheese, tubers, fish, fruit, oil, and fat. But economic observers say recent government policies, including the removal of fuel subsidies in May, are to blame for the surge and predict the trend might continue. Timothy Obiezu, VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
A judge has warned Donald Trump and others at his New York civil fraud trial to keep the volume down after the former U.S. president threw up his hands in frustration and spoke aloud to his lawyers while a witness was testifying against him. Judge Arthur Engoron made the warning after Trump was heard animately conferring with his lawyers at the defense table during real estate appraiser Doug Larson's second day of testimony at the Manhattan trial. Find more on our website, voanews.com, or download the VOA mobile app. I'm Joe Ramsey.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.